All right, a few bits of fever news since my last video, actually, because there was practice availability ahead of the game against the Las Vegas Aces, and a bit of a non-update on DeWanna Bonner from head coach Stephanie White in regards to the DB situation. Here is what the coach said, so you're not just taking it from me.
How is she doing? Is there any timeline for her return?
Yeah, she's doing well. She's doing well. Again, no timeline. I think it's day to day, and for us to just make sure that we're continuing to be supportive of DB in her.
So no timeline, day to day. She didn't make the trip with the team. Obviously, as always with something like that, I hope everything is okay with DeWanna Bonner and those close to her. That is number one. So let me full on say that first and foremost. I will say my spider sense is tingling a little bit about this situation. I don't want to speculate too much, but it does seem just a touch odd for her to be away from the team for this long. Obviously, Alyssa Thomas has been playing for the Mercury. Not that everything those two have to do with one another at all times, but of course, we know they are together, so that is a little bit of a context clue, perhaps. Stephanie White wearing the birthday crown is interesting as she does it, and she was just away from the team for personal reasons, and obviously, I hope everything is okay with her family as well. But this is now an extended absence for DeWanna Bonner. So if what Stephanie White is saying is true, that she's doing well, then the natural follow-ups are, what exactly is going on. And you don't want to pry into somebody's personal life, but when the player is as big a high-profile player as DeWanna Bonner is, and away from the team for as long as she has been, it's only going to lead to natural curiosity and speculation. And obviously Bonner not, started coming off the bench, not having her best season thus far. I do think they've missed her length and defense and rebounding and toughness. But we will see. That's about all I'll say on that until we get more information. Meanwhile, Sophie Cunningham also spoke about, the whole ordeal from the other day. And she said something that a lot of people are going to love in that true Sophie fashion.
I'm dialed in. I need to focus on hitting my shots, making sure I'm executing the schemes right. I'm not focused on the extracurricular activities. And you know what? During that, it was just part of the game. I think the refs had a lot to do with that. It was a build-up for a couple of years now of them just not protecting, the star player of the WNBA. And so at the end of the day, I'm going to protect my teammates. That's what I do. And I'm a team player, so it's all good.
I'm going to protect my teammates. It's what I'm going to do. And it's a buildup of them not protecting the star player in the WNBA. Obviously, that being a reference to Caitlin Clark. And that's kind of how I felt about this one, right? Like, I for the longest time, have held off on, this idea that Clark is being targeted or anything like that. I mean, I think physical play is part of it, and that is in the scouting report, obviously going against Caitlin Clark. But the fact that things are not called correctly on the floor, that was the breaking point for me for it to happen yet again in this instance, where Clark gets the same penalty as Marina Mabry in real time when she gets knocked to the floor after getting hit in the eye. And then later, the Mabry call is upgraded to a flagrant 2, because as much as I believe Sophie Cunningham felt J.C. Sheldon had it coming, given the past interactions and confrontations, I do believe that the Sophie Cunningham thing does not happen if Marina Mabry is thrown out of the game. Initially, I think it was a buildup of the officiating, and that was what I called out the other day, the officiating and the refs allowing things to escalate in that fashion. Finally, Caitlin Clark spoke about All-Star, and the Fever, unsurprisingly, have dominated the All-Star returns for players in the top 10. Caitlin Clark in the least surprising news of all, number 1. Here is what Cece had to say about that specifically, and the uptick in the voting overall.
Caitlin, how cool is it to be leading the early All-Star voting tally?
I mean, you're good. I mean, it is what it is. People get so hyped up over that, but that's not why you play the game. I think it's a I think it's a fun way to get the fans involved and really passionate about All-Star, gets them excited, makes them feel involved. It's a fun aspect to have, but for as a player, that's not the reason you play, and it's really only 50% of the vote. So, but it is cool, and it's also cool for me to see how much love my teammates also get. I think we had 4 in the top 10, so whether who ends up being an All-Star or not, it's still cool to see the type of love that you get from the fans.
Take a step further. I mean, the voting numbers are huge.
Yeah, they are.
Voting for you guys, but just everyone seems to be voting.
Yeah, it seems like it's certainly going to set some sort of record for amount of votes casted compared to last year, if I'm not mistaken. I feel like we're on track for that, which just shows how much engagement we're driving across the league for all different sorts of players and teams. And that's exactly what the league needs, is people excited about that type of stuff and wanting to be involved and feeling like their vote really counts and feeling like they can make an impact on the All-Star game. So it's really exciting to see, and hopefully as we continue to go here year to year to year, it just continues to grow.
And that is a good measuring stick for the growth of the league and what Clark and the Fever have done to help grow the league, really, because we've actually seen that in real time, right? And you see it from other players are noticing it as well. Other players are noticing it, including Courtney Williams and Natisha Heidemann on the show that they do, the Twitch stream that they do. They spoke about that same exact topic and kept it real, right? And Court always keeps it real. I think that's one of the things people love about her.
Wasn't it like, how many people? There was a lot of people from Indiana on there.
Hell yeah, it was like their whole starting 5 was in the top. Their whole starting 5 was on that list. Their whole starting 5, even folks that came off their bench was on that list, bro. No cap. That's crazy, bro. But that really show you the influence that Caitlin Clark got.
No, that is, bro. People,
her influence is insane.
And people
bro.
try to say that nigga, what? Man, I'm stuttering. Come on, G. Let's just state the facts.
It's folks coming off. Come on, bro. You got folks coming off of her bench, off of their bench. That's in that top 40, bro. Her influence is crazy. You can't even hate on it because it's
you got motion.
You got real deal motion.
You got motion, bro.
Real deal motion, bro. She got real deal motion. That's crazy.
Motion of the ocean. I mean, what's the commotion? She's got it going on. I could find other words to rhyme. I don't know how I'd fit in lotion or, any other things. Of notion. I've got the notion of the commotion of the motion of the ocean while I'm smoothing myself out with lotion. Sorry, I apologize. That was bad. I didn't need to do that. Nonetheless, there you have it. That's the latest as the Fever gets set to take on the Aces. Clearly prime for a bounce back game. I think we get a bounce back game from the Indiana Fever in that one after what was kind of a trap game against the Golden State Valkyries. Sophie Cunningham keeping it real. Courtney Williams keeping it real. The Fever leading the All-Stars as we expected. And the DeWanna Bonner situation becoming a bit of a head scratcher, I think it's fair to say.